Simplified speech number 170, The Little Joys in Life, featuring Andrew and Suzanne. So Suzanne, today we have what I think will be a very wonderful topic to discuss, and today's topic is the little joys in life. Yeah, the little joys in life. I really love this topic. In this episode, we are going to talk about the smaller things in life that can bring us a little moment of happiness. And I think they can really vary a lot from person to person. Yeah, I think you're right about that, Suzanne. And I can't wait to hear about the little joys on your list. Would you like to go first? Would you like to kick us off? Yeah, of course. I'd love to go first. One of my favorite little joys is when you don't have anything the next morning and you can sleep in like a little bit extra, just a little bit more sleep that next morning, and you can wake up a little later. That's just a really nice little joy in life. So when you have a clear schedule the next morning and you can spend a little bit of extra time in bed. Yeah, that's a great one, Suzanne. I love that feeling as well. Yeah, and of course, that extra time equals more cuddles with the pup, right? With the doggy in the bed. If you allowed your dog to go into the bed, so it always equals more cuddle time. Suzanne, a similar feeling that really brings me a lot of joy in life. And I hadn't thought of this until you mentioned yours, and I was like, oh yeah, I do really like this. Is if you have to get up in the night to maybe go to the bathroom or something, and you look at the clock and maybe it is only like 1:30 or 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, and you still have a lot of sleep in front of you. I love that feeling. You're like, oh, I can still go back to sleep for another 6 hours or something. That's an amazing feeling. Conversely, if you have to wake up, I don't know, let's just say that you wake up at 7 a.m., but you have to wake up at 6 maybe to go to the bathroom, then you're like, oh, should I even go back to bed? I'm already up. It can go either way when nature calls. Totally. That's the worst. I will ask you, Andrew, if you have another little joy that you have in your life. Yeah, so sure. Maybe we'll continue throughout the day if we are talking about waking up. One of the first thing that I do when I do wake up in the morning is to brew my morning cup of coffee. And that is one of the biggest joys in my life. I love the ritual around it, I always go through the process of filling up my grinder and grinding some fresh beans, and then sometimes I prepare the coffee in a different way. But these days I usually just use my coffee machine because I'm kind of lazy, but I love the aroma. Like the smell of the coffee in the air is so great. And I usually wake up first in my house. So my wife and dog are still sleeping when I wake up, so it's a quiet time in the morning usually. I can have a little solo time in the morning and just enjoy a cup of coffee. And these days, usually what I've been doing while I drink my cup of coffee is play the word game Wordle, which I've talked about on the podcast before with Cassie. And yeah, that's just like a nice little way to start the day. It doesn't take long. I wouldn't say it's like my morning routine every day, but whenever I enjoy just making the coffee, sitting down, taking 5-10 minutes to solve to solve a puzzle and enjoy a cup of coffee before I start my day. That just sounds so divine. I agree. I also love to put the beans in the grinder and get that aroma going. And I also enjoy a cup of coffee. And I have a pour over system because I'm the only one in my house who drinks coffee. So I kind of find ways of single serve coffee, and it's really fun. The ritual of heating up the cup, then grinding the beans and pouring it in and slowly creating that coffee. I agree to that. That's a lovely morning ritual and pleasure. And I think the ritual of it also helps wake us up, maybe, because it's kind of autopilot. So it's not something we have to think of it's not something we have to think about too much. And it really helps to wake us up. Suzanne, I've got another little joy in life that I want to talk to you about, and I think this one is kind of unique. Probably many people like drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, but I think not as many people can say that they like doing this activity. And I really have to thank my wife for it, because if she wasn't around, then I wouldn't be able to do this. But my wife is a great gardener, and she's got lots of house plants, and also she has many cacti. And one thing that's cool is the way that they are set up in our house is that they are kind of behind our kitchen table on a patio, but the patio is enclosed with glass. So if I'm sitting at the dinner table and I just turn around, then I can look out the window and see all the cacti there. And one thing that I like to do, sometimes I even do this while I'm drinking my coffee, maybe after playing a game of Wordle, is I kind of just shift my seat and turn my body around so I can look out the glass toward the patio at all of the little cacti. And she's got some really interesting, unique, different ones from all over the place, and there's some really cool ones from Africa as well. She's got them all displayed really nicely with grow lights and everything. And I just like admiring them. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but like admiring the cacti, looking at them. They have lots of cool patterns, and some of them flower, and they each have different thorn. They each have different thorn types and patterns on them. I don't know. It's just really cool, and I really like looking at them. And every time I look at them, I just think, wow, it's such a cool plant. And I'm appreciative of all the different kinds of life forms that we have on the planet. And yeah, I just really enjoy checking out her cacti from time to time. Wow, that's so cool. I wonder if it gives you that feeling that you're in nature also. Yeah, I'm right in the middle of a huge city, so it is kind of like an escape into nature right in the heart of my own apartment. Yes, that's fantastic. That inspires me to maybe venture out into more cacti buying. Suzanne, do you have another little joy you could share with us? Yeah, I really enjoy going on a walk with my dog most of the time. If it's bitter cold here, or the wind is really windy or icy rain, not so much. But I really do enjoy walking my dog, especially when the sun is shining. And there's a street that I really love walking down or up, I should say, because I walk north. It's a kind of commercial street, meaning there are a lot of stores and shops along the way, and there are about 5 or 6 places where you can bring your dog in with you. And it's really fun to just stroll and stop in and pop into a store, quickly say hello, and maybe pick up more coffee beans or a candle or some yummy fruit, and just kind of pop in here and there along the street and say hi to the shop owners. And everyone always wants to pet my dog and just sort of feel that sense of community and belonging. And it's great when the dog is allowed to come with you. So I really do enjoy that whenever we walk along the street. That's awesome. I wish I could share in that joy with you. Sometimes my wife and I will go to pet-friendly cafes in our neighborhood. My dog Pinky, he just doesn't know how to chill. So he will never sit down and just relax. He's always he's always walking he's always walking around and poking around, and we have to chase after him, and we can't relax. We can just sit and enjoy a coffee. So unfortunately, we can't do that. But I could imagine that it's very nice. I would love to be able to do that. Yeah, it's funny to me because yeah, it's funny to me because you're such a chill person. You're kind of what you're like you're like one of the chillest person I know, and so I can imagine that your dog would not be that way. Yeah, he's not hyper. It's not like he's causing a scene or like disturbing other customers. He just gets really anxious, I think. He just can't relax because he's too nervous. So it's that kind of situation. And then we feel bad, like, oh, we shouldn't have taken him out. We shouldn't have taken him out. We shouldn't have taken him out. Like, oh, we gotta go. So whenever we do that, we always end up just slamming back our hot coffees very quickly and going home. Suzanne, as a music lover, I have one more little joy. We could go on forever and ever. We could go on forever and ever about little things in life that make us happy. But I've got one more that I will share. And when I have some free time, especially on the weekend, what I'm really like doing is kind of like digital digging, if I could say digital digging. So, like record, you can go to a record store, and you could dig for vinyl records, try to find some hidden gem, right? Well, I like going to YouTube and searching just for rare or obscure or weird music that I've never heard before. It doesn't even have to be weird or obscure or rare. Rather, it could just be some music that I've never heard before. I love trying to search finding interesting music that I've never heard, and a I get a lot of joy out of finding something cool. If I find like a new song or a new band or a new artist, and when I say new, I mean new to me. Like the song might be 50 years old, but if it's the first time I've heard it and I really really connect with it and like the song, then that brings me a ton of joy. And recently what's happened is I found some cool songs that I've sent to my friends. And then my friends have also been like, "Oh, the song is so good." And they really enjoy it as well. And they are not just saying that like, "Oh yeah, it's good. Thank you." You know, they actually really enjoy it. And that brings me also a lot of joy is when I can share that good movie with my friends. And they actually enjoy it as well. I think that's a great feeling, and that's one of the little pleasures in life, in my world at least. Yeah, that's really cool. I admire that so much because I don't actively search out music enough, and I rely quite a bit on algorithms that feed me, "Hey, maybe you would like this song." And sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. But the art algorithm algorithm but the algorithm are great. I mean, the algorithm leads me to a lot of stuff as well. I'm not just like walking around in the dark per se. The algorithm is learning about what I'm clicking on and predicting what it thinks I will like. And yeah, it's really helpful. So I would be lost without the algorithms these days. But also do like to mess with them a little bit. But I also do like to mess with them a little bit, where I will be going in one direction for a while, then I just throw in a musical theater song or two, and then I'm listening to some country music, and they're like, "What?" That algorithm gets confused. I have one more too, if that's okay, if we have time. Yeah, sure, we will make it the last one. What's your last little joy? Actually, something that came up first was baking. I really love baking delicious things, but something that brings me joy, going and buying and bringing home fresh cut flowers, like a bouquet of flowers, and then putting them in our house and trimming them. And it's similar to having plants, just having a fresh bouquet of flowers. And then as I walk by them throughout the week, I'm like, "Oh, I love that so much." And I will stop and smell them, and they remind me to take care of myself, and maybe inspires me to take a bath or something like that. I love seeing fresh cut flowers. They just always bring so much joy. Whenever we have fresh cut flowers in the house, I always think to myself, we have to have this in the house all the time. And then maybe the flower will die and it's time to throw them out. And then, yeah, we go for a time without them. But then we do get whenever we do get them in the house again, it's always so lovely. I can't say it's something that happens regularly, but when it does happen from time to time, it's lovely. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It really can bring a smile to your face, right? Or make you feel good. Like it just warms up your house so much to have some beautiful flowers in the home. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. It's totally one of those things like, why don't I do this every week. I should get flowers every week. I think I'm inspired, Suzanne. Maybe I will go and get some flowers for my wife. I will buy a nice guy. I will be a nice guy, a nice husband. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's the best. But then I can benefit too. It's one of the sneaky gifts where it's like it's for you, but I can benefit as well. You will benefit in more ways than one because you get to enjoy the flowers and the happiness of your wife too. Okay, I got to do it. It's a great idea. I love it. We've decided to keep our conversation going just a little bit longer for all of our members as a way to say thanks for supporting us. So Suzanne, I've got 3 fun questions here about joy and happiness, just in general, that I thought we could talk about briefly. So let's do it. Question number 1, and I hope you have a good answer for this. It might be hard to answer, but I will ask anyways. Do you remember the last time that you laughed uncontrollably? Or the last thing that made you laugh uncontrollably? Oh my gosh, I remember the scene. And I was like in pain. I was like crying so hard, but I can remember what it was about. I do remember this, I do remember that. I was laughing at myself, like something I did. It was something that I said or did that was silly, and maybe it was in French, and it was like cracking up about my mistake. But it was so funny, I couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, but I think it's funny that I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, what about you? Can you remember? You kind of cracked me up recently when we recorded the episode about table manners, and you were telling me the story about your house guest putting his feet on the table. That cracked me up. I thought that was really funny. And also yesterday I was on Reddit, the social media community, and people were discussing their favorite comedy movies. Comedy movies. Comedy. And one of my generation's top comedy is Dumb and Dumber. And I also really love that movie, Dumb and Dumber. And people were just quoting lines from the movie. But as I was reading them, like I could hear the characters' voices in my head and see the scenes in my head, and it was just cracking me up. Like I haven't seen that movie in so long. But just as I was sitting on the subway reading that, I was actually laughing out loud, just at reading people quoting famous lines from the movie. So yeah, that got me laughing. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's really good. Yeah, something that we've been doing is rewatching Seinfeld from the beginning. And the other day, he said something so funny, like in Seinfeld, how he does his stand up throughout the episode.